All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unlocking the hidden science behind building a truly resilient lawn, specifically in North Carolina. Because, let's face it, between the heavy clay soil, the absolutely blistering summers, and those sudden, unpredictable droughts, keeping grass alive here is tough. But the secret to your lawn's survival? It actually starts right now, in the fall.
So, let's kick things off with a pretty simple question. When does a healthy lawn actually begin? Think about your neighbors for a second. If you walked outside right now and asked them when the most critical season for lawn care is, what do you think they'd say? When is the absolute best time to put in the real work?
I'd bet good money the vast majority of people would say spring. And, it makes total sense. Most of us picture greener grass, blooming flowers, warmer days, so we naturally assume the starting line for a healthy yard is right around March. We've basically been conditioned to associate the color green with the beginning of the growing season.
But the truth is, that's completely wrong. The healthiest lawns are actually built during the fall. A lush, vibrant spring lawn absolutely does not begin in March, it begins in the autumn. I know it feels totally counterintuitive because, well, the leaves are dropping and the whole world seems to be going to sleep. But beneath the surface, a massive, massive biological shift is taking place.
I really love how the experts at Lawn Pride of North Charlotte sum this up. They say, fall is when your lawn invests in its future. And that brilliant little quote perfectly shifts our focus from the green grass blades we can easily see above ground down to the hidden, vital world below it. It's literally like financial investing. The work you put in right now pays compounding dividends months down the line when things get stressful.
See, we're looking at two entirely different biological schedules here. Spring is mostly about fast blade growth. The stuff you have to go out and mow every single weekend. But for cool season grasses like Tall Fescue, which totally dominate North Carolina lawns, fall is the primary root growing season. We get so distracted by those fast-growing blades in the spring, but the roots, the actual foundation of the entire plant, they're operating on a completely different timetable.
But here in North Carolina, we've got a major underground villain standing in the way of those roots: compacted soil. Basically, this is that heavy clay dirt that's been smashed down over time by foot traffic, the heavy weight of your lawnmower, pounding rain, or even just the initial construction of your house. And when that clay gets compacted, it traps the grass roots incredibly close to the surface, leaving them totally exposed and highly susceptible to drought, disease, heat stress, and all those invasive weeds we hate.
The most crucial takeaway here is that even the healthiest, most perfectly watered plant is going to struggle to push its roots through ground that essentially acts like a solid block. Honestly, think of compacted soil like concrete. It literally does not matter how much expensive fertilizer you throw on top of concrete. If the roots are hitting a physical wall of hard clay, they just can't grow deep enough to survive what's coming.
And what's coming next is the brutal summer. When those high temperatures hit, the grass is forced into pure survival mode. The plant actually stops its root growth completely. The heat causes the grass to spend almost all of its energy just trying to stay alive, so it shuts down any expansion just to conserve whatever tiny bit of moisture it can find in that shallow, tightly compacted top layer of dirt.
Now, this part is really fascinating. Look at the juxtaposition that happens right around September and October. The cooler autumn air relieves that intense heat stress, meaning the plant doesn't have to battle just to survive anymore. But, and here's the magic, at the exact same time, the soil remains deeply warm from months of soaking up the summer sun. This specific combination, cool air up top, warm soil down below, creates the absolute perfect storm for the grass to redirect all its energy underground. It starts producing new roots, extending the old ones, and storing up carbohydrates for the winter.
So how do we mechanically fix that concrete-like clay so the roots can actually grow? The answer is core aeration. We use specialized equipment to literally pull small plugs of soil right out of the lawn, which immediately breaks up that awful compaction. Suddenly, you've got these new pathways opening up. There's a massive rush of oxygen, water, and nutrients flooding straight into the root zone. This lets microbes thrive and finally gives the roots the actual physical space they need to stretch out and dig deep.
If we zoom in to the microscopic level for just a second, that rush of oxygen does something incredible. It wakes up millions of beneficial microorganisms. Remember, healthy soil is a living ecosystem. These microbes are essential because they break down organic matter and release nutrients. They also naturally chew through the dead thatch layer, that suffocating mat of dead stems that blocks water from reaching the dirt. Aeration basically gives these microscopic heroes the oxygen they desperately need to thrive and clean up your yard.
Plus, for those of you with thin, tall fescue lawns, especially around the Charlotte and Lake Norman areas,
Combining this core aeration with overseeding creates the absolute ultimate environment for new grass to take hold. Think about it. The thousands of little holes left behind by the aerator, they act like perfect protective little incubators. They give you amazing seed-to-soil contact, meaning your expensive grass seed isn't just going to wash away the next time it rains. It's tucked safely right into the earth, ready to germinate.
All right, as we move past fall in our explainer, we really need to bust widespread myth. This idea that grass completely stops growing and just sleeps all winter long. Just because the green blades above ground slow way down and you finally get to put the mower away, it is so easy to assume the whole plant is entirely dormant.
But here is the surprising scientific fact. Those roots continue growing anytime the soil temperature remains above 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, scratch that. It's not just a fun fact, it's a huge advantage. North Carolina's relatively mild winters are a secret weapon. Because our soil often stays above 40 degrees, the root system just keeps developing long after mowing season is over. Every single warm winter day is a hidden opportunity for your lawn to quietly build its strength underground.
So by the time spring finally rolls around again, this deep root system is fully established, which brings our whole narrative full circle to the ultimate summer payoff. Lawns with deeper roots can reach moisture that's stored way down below the surface. Instead of panicking and relying only on whatever rain happened to fall yesterday, your lawn now has exclusive access to a massive underground water reservoir. And this leads to tangible, real-world results that you can actually see. We're talking way better drought resistance, significantly less heat stress, and drastically reduced watering needs, which, by the way, saves you a ton of money on your water bill. You're also going to see much better color during those inevitable dry patches and a way faster recovery when the summer heat finally breaks. Look, with North Carolina facing increasing droughts and strict watering restrictions lately, a deep root system is without question your lawn's absolute best long-term defense. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to look out your window and really ask yourself, is your lawn actually prepared to survive the next brutal drought? Or is it just sitting there waiting to bake on a slab of concrete clay? The real growth, the stuff that actually matters, starts right now. The only question is, are you going to give your roots the oxygen and space they need to survive? Thanks so much for joining me today.